FOMO is only a tax that undisciplined traders pay. And by the end of this video, I'm going to show you how you can avoid paying that tax. Now, firstly, what is FOMO? Well, if you think about it, FOMO, the fear of missing out, when you're sitting waiting for a trade to set up and you have this fear that you're now going to miss out on an opportunity, on a trade, on an opportunity for money or for a payout or for passing a funded challenge, that fear comes simultaneously with when you create an expectation of what you think the market's going to give to you. FOMO is without a doubt the number one reason why traders cannot stick to their trading plan. And they're sitting at the markets with a bulletproof trading plan, they think, and then they're waiting for a setup to set up. They may be looking at euro dollar, or they may be looking at Tesla, whatever it may be, whatever the asset is. It has nothing to do with the market really, it has everything to do with their own mind. They then create this idea that, all right, a trade on euro dollar or a trade on Tesla today is going to help me pass my funded challenge, it's going to get me funded, or it's going to get me a certain payout, and that's going to help me cover my expenses, rent, it's going to help me buy a new watch or a new car. And that trader conjures all these ideas in their imagination about what they think that trade for that day is going to bring them, what benefit they think it's going to give them. And the market hasn't even set up yet. The trader has just created this story, this narrative, this idea in their imagination. I call it a fantasy or an unrealistic expectation about what they think the market's going to give them. So think about that for a second. The trader has just come to the market, and the trader in their own mind has created all these ideas of what they think the market's going to give them. And the market hasn't even set up yet. Now, FOMO comes in the moment you create those positive expectations, those positive ideas in your imagination about what you think you're going to get from the market, those fantasies. And the moment you create those ideas in your mind, FOMO comes into your mind simultaneously. Because you only have the fear of missing out on those positive expectations that you've created in your own mind. Now, the good thing about this is you're in full control over whether you have FOMO or not. Because if you don't create those positive fantasies, those unrealistic expectations about what you think the market's going to give to you, then guess what? You don't have FOMO. So an exercise I teach every single one of my traders is when they're sitting waiting for a setup to set up, to ensure their own mind doesn't sabotage them and create this fear that ultimately makes them take a setup that isn't ready to be set up because it hasn't aligned with their trading plan yet. They're only taking it because they fear missing out on those positive expectations they've created in their own mind. An exercise I get them to do is when they're sitting waiting for a trade, I get them to write down everything they think that trade's going to give them. All the positive outcomes they think that trade's going to give them. Whether it's a funded challenge, whether it's a payout, whether it's status and recognition in their community, whether it's the ability to cover expenses and rent or bills, whether it's a new watch or a new car, whatever ideas they're projecting onto the market or they're conjuring up in their own imagination, I get them to write them down, scribble them down. And just by doing that exercise, most traders, through a level of self-awareness, realize how delusional they are into thinking that they can just come to the market and expect all these things. So just by having that self-awareness in the first place, it helps them calm their expectations and as a result, calm their FOMO. And I encourage every single one of you to do it. This is why I put the Bulletproof Your Trading Mindset 2.0 tool together. This is the exact mental model that I identified the top performing traders were following. They were able to become acutely aware of why they're trading, Are they trading because they've created this idea in their mind about what they think the market's going to give them, and they're just impulsively trying to capture after that, like an animal trying to capture after prey? Or are they trading because the market has communicated to them that the market aligns with their edge? Those are two very different reasons to trade. But if you're being run by FOMO, you're taking trades not because the trade aligns with your plan, but because you fear missing out on that idea you've created in your mind. So the exercise I get traders to do is to write down all the benefits, all the positive expectations they think the market's going to give them in that moment. And I get them to scribble them down. Now, you can either do this with a piece of paper and a pen, or you can download the Bulletproof Your Trading Mindset 2.0 tool. It's completely free. I've left it linked in the description in the first comment. And that tool just helps you and probes you with questions to ensure you're writing down the right things. But then once a trader's written those things down, you will be shocked by what you convince yourself to do as a trader and why you convince yourself to trade. And just having that mirror in front of you reflect back onto your own mental thought process at the time of trading is very, very crucial. That self-awareness is crucial because you'll realize how much of your trading is based on and conjured up by your own imagination. And you're realizing that for 90% of your trading journey, you weren't actually trading the markets, you're trading this false idea you've created of the markets in your own mind. And when you can do that exercise of writing down the expectations you think you're going to get from the trade at the time of trading, you will see that reflection back onto you. And you'll realize that there's a difference between trading the virtual market in your mind, which is run by greed and FOMO, fear and greed, the emotional trading based on the outcome, and where the top 1% of traders trade from, which is process-based thinking. You see, when you have self-awareness and you quiet down fear and greed, you're then in the most powerful position to make process-based decisions, which are ones determined based on, does this trade align with my plan? If it does, I'm going to take it. If it doesn't, I'm not going to take it. That's a very different place to be trading from, as opposed to being in a state of fear, trading because you're scared of missing out on your own imagination, the ideas you've created in your own imagination. So once you've started to build that self-awareness and you identify these positive expectations that you create in your own mind before you trade, which ultimately lead you to convincing yourself to take setups before they're even ready to be taken, you can then also add another layer onto this. And you can, before you take a trade, you can have a mental model, which is all outlined in the Bulletproof Your Trading Mindset tool, but you can just remind yourself that there are millions of factors in the financial markets. There are political factors, there are social factors, there are import-export factors, there are supply and demand factors that influence the price of any asset at one point in time. Yet, us as traders, we have this proud exaggeration thinking that we can predict where the price on an individual trade is going to go. No one trader knows what all those factors are. And no one trader knows how each of those factors will interact and engage with each other to affect the price of an asset. Yet we think as traders we can come to the market on every individual trade and predict that this trade's going to be a win. And it's quite delusional when you think about it. So once you've identified these unrealistic expectations and benefits, I encourage each of my traders to inject this rational thought process into their decision making to remind themselves that on this individual trade, because of all these factors influencing price, no individual trader can know what the market's going to do on an individual outcome. And it's not your job to predict what's going to happen on this individual trade. It's your job to identify an edge that you know works over a larger sample space and to consistently stick to that edge so that you can reap consistent profitability over a long period of time, over a larger sample space. Now, the title of this video is going to be something along the lines of remove FOMO in 5 minutes or something like that. And the truth is you can do it quicker than 5 minutes. You remove FOMO simultaneously when you remove the positive fantasies and expectations you project onto the market. So that could take 5 minutes, That could take 30 years. It's your choice. If you continue to hold on to these ideas of what you think the market's going to give you, and you base your decisions and reactivity in the market based on capturing after your own imagination, and if you continue to do that, then you're going to continue to have FOMO. FOMO and fear in your trading is not a bad thing. The fear is trying to make you realize that you're pursuing a fantasy, a one-sided ideal in your own mind that isn't reality. FOMO is the very feedback that you have unrealistic expectations in the market. You get rid of those fantasies and unrealistic expectations, you do not have FOMO anymore in your trading. You now make decisions based on, all right, what's the market communicating to me right now? Is the market presenting an opportunity? Great, if it is, I'm gonna take the trade. If it's not, then I'm not gonna take the trade. So the thought process I've identified with the top 1% traders is that they're not attached to a certain outcome on the individual trade. They have their proven edge, which is outlined in a specific mechanical trading plan, and that trading plan guides their decisions. If the market presents an opportunity that aligns with their trading plan, they take it. And going into that trade, they don't have an expectation that that trade's gonna be a win, or it's gonna help them save their financial situation, or help them get funded and all that. They don't care about the outcome of the individual trade, which means they're free from fear and FOMO on the individual trades. And they can just make decisions that truly align with their trading plan. And over a large sample space, when they do that, they then approximate their edge, and that's where they have consistent profitability from. They have consistent profitability as a result of consistently adhering to their trading plan. And they're not run by FOMO, they're not run by fear and greed, because they're not attached to the individual outcome of a trade. They've learned to dispassionately adhere to their edge without creating ideas of what they think is gonna happen in the market. And that puts them in such a strong position of power when they're trading, because now they're not run by the market. They make their own objective decisions based on process and based on their edge. And this is the exact mindset that I help you emulate when you use that Bulletproof Your Trading Mindset tool. So I want you all to download that and use it for the next month, and follow the video walkthrough tutorials that I give with that. It's all free, it's completely free. And that tool is going to show you how you can shift your mentality from one that's run by fear and greed, which means you can't stick to your trading plan, to go from that to consistently sticking to your trading plan, because now all of a sudden you're not run by emotions in your trading. Now traders, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this video. And if you found this useful, please feel free to share the video with your trading friends and your trading community. It helps me grow. But I look forward to seeing you all in the next video.